And we are live on StreamYard, so we have to go live on Instagram.
Which gives us plenty of time for a millennial pause.
Yes. Millennial Curious always starts with a millennial pause. There we go.
Yay.
Okay,
Yay.
amazing. Welcome, everyone, to Millennial Curious. We are live every Tuesday at around 3-ish, 3:10, 3:20, however long it takes for us to get our shit together. I'm Katie McManus at The Real Katie McManus.
I'm Gabi Sharina at Artsy Activist.
I'm Ryan Basham at Ryan Basham.
Beautiful. And we have some really fun millennial takes for you this week. Who wants to start us off? Shall I? Okay.
Yes, you shall.
I think we need to talk about the Graham Plattner shit show. But I want to design with you guys. We're not talking about the details of the allegations because I don't want to trigger anyone here.
Yeah.
Good?
Yes.
The thing that is pissing me off there are a bunch of stuff that are pissing me off about the Graham Plattner thing. But the thing that really riles me up is this whole conversation that people have around like, well, should we believe the woman? Because there's this question of like, well, why would someone wait until this moment to call him out and accuse him and not do it sooner and not report it to the police and this and that and the other thing. And I think we all know the statistics on reporting sexual abuse, right?
Yeah.
We all know way more gets unreported than actually gets reported. But I just want to point out to anyone who's watching that, for someone who has experienced that, if you see someone the person who did it to you, starting to run for office and like there's always going to be this hope that like they just drop out or they fail and that you're not going to have to raise your voice. And then when it starts to get real that they could actually become a person in power, the question comes to mind like, oh, well, what if they use their power to abuse another person? Do I want that on my conscience? Like I could call them out and reveal them for what they are.
And not to mention, the bigger they get, the more they're seeing them, the more they're in the public eye. That is
triggering.
Something you have to then swallow every single day is that memory or that feeling. And it does eventually, and a lot of times I think women talk to their friends about it or like say it to their friends. And like, if I was sitting with you guys and I didn't feel comfortable, maybe I would say it to you guys and then you guys would be like, every time you saw it, like, please tell someone, like, you know what I mean? Like encouraging me to come forward. So I'm sure it's a domino effect that takes time and no judgment it's a scary thing.
Well, I remember, I'm a survivor and I remember not wanting to I didn't want the attention of being the one who made the accusation.
Right.
And my abuser was somebody who was kind of a pillar of the community. And I knew, especially in a small town, I think, or on the national stage, I think too, you become the center of attention in a way that feels like it's going to stick around and it is unwanted. Right. And I think psychologically, when you find yourself in one of those rock and a hard place situations, one of the things there are a few things that are likely to move you, except some extraordinary change in outside circumstances. And I think your abuser becoming a national figure overnight and potentially one of the most powerful people in the country if they win an election is a pretty that's a pretty significant outside force. So I don't think it's unfair to have question marks about the entirety of all accusations, period. That I think, it's just math. Inevitably, something isn't going to be honest, but nothing about the way that the timing of this person coming forward nothing about that suggests to me some kind of lack of integrity. It suggests to me obvious, paint by the numbers. This is what happens to a person who's been abused, and this is how they work through it. That's what the common psychology is. So she's following a track that honest accusers follow every day.
Except some people don't ever come out. So we're very lucky that she did or didn't you know what I mean? Like, didn't wait until, yeah, like, I don't think that so many people love to sit here and be like, she should have come out. But like, when you get that type of attention, negative attention, and people not believing you, threatening you, like, who would ever want to just be like willingly want to do that? So we are very lucky that she did come out when she did that, and that she did at all.
Yeah. Because it would have come out eventually anyway, I think.
Well, the other thing I wanted to jump in with is like people are like, oh, it's someone on the Republican side who did this. And it's like the Republicans, if they were going to do something like this and like make a false allegation, they would have waited until it was too late for the Democrats to find someone else to put on the ballot.
Yes.
They would be way more strategic about when they do that.
Agree. Yeah. I think that's entirely true. And I also think, you can't outweigh the might that it must feel like it would be against you when one of the nation's two major political parties have all of their hopes and dreams pinned on this person who's done this thing to you. I think she deserves a lot of grace, I think. If I think we should be more than anything thankful, because as you said, this was almost too late to change who's on the ballot. And I'm grateful that she stepped forward now while we can still salvage the situation, because what nobody wants is for Susan Collins to go back to the Senate. And so, if she had waited, and I actually, if I could talk to her today, I probably would ask her, was the timing of when he could be replaced on the ballot a factor for you? Because I imagine if I were her and I knew that deadline was looming and that it would be, irreversible damage if I waited any longer, I think I would feel more compelled to speak up.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And this is
regardless of what party I'm with.
Right. Definitely. And I don't know if you guys how in touch you are with what's going on with the World Cup, but there's a player on Ghana's team who played for, and I want to say it's Manchester United. He did something awful, or was accused of doing something awful, and is now potentially going to get taken from that team. He was still playing for at least a few weeks. Yeah. And I saw a video on TikTok and I thought it was so good. I wish I remembered the name of the girl who posted it, but she was like, I see so many people all the time that say like, oh, accusations ruin a man's life. Really? Well, I'm watching the World Cup and I see multiple men that have been accused and like their lives seem pretty great. And just watching the broadcast, Jameis Winston, like these guys, their lives, give me a break. He's living his best life and he got accused. Like, yeah, there are awful things that happen, but I don't think it can ever be compared to the life of being silenced or even just being a victim at all.
Right. Well, it reminds me of like, when Kavanaugh was being, approved for the Supreme Court, and Christine Blasey Ford, I believe, accused him of SA back in college. And at the time, it was really interesting. I was dating a guy who was an FBI agent in the Bay Area. And he was actually one of the agents he was one of the agents who, like, they did a meeting at, I think, the Federal Building in San Francisco, wherever it is. And he was photographed coming out. And everyone thought that, like, she was coordinating with the FBI so they could investigate him. They weren't. The FBI didn't give a fuck at all about the allegations. She was getting death threats. She was getting packages and hate mail and death threats to her home, I think in Palo Alto. And so the FBI was getting involved to help protect her, but not necessarily to get justice for her or to investigate the truth of her allegations. So like,
in fact, I think we discovered later that was a half-hearted effort anyway.
Yeah.
On the part of the
Kavanaugh, but to the point of what Gabi was saying, like Kavanaugh ended up on the Supreme Court. He's still there. It didn't impact his life at all. What the fuck are we talking about? Impact.
Yeah, he's got that job in life as long as he wants it, and he's basically untouchable.
Well, and the
Right.
president of the United States, I mean, the biggest job in the country
Yep.
is still like, it can't affect lives. Give me a break.
No.
Yeah.
I think what men see is like if like a male school teacher is accused of doing something to children, like yeah, his life is over. If you're like if you don't have money and power or some kind of like talent or skill that makes you special, yeah, it's going to ruin you. But I think men, when they see these powerful people get accused of stuff, what they do is they project, well, what if I were accused of something and it was false? It would ruin my life. Like, yeah, it probably would, because you're not rich, you're not powerful, you don't have a special skill or talent. Yeah, you'd be fucked. But these guys, like, they're fine. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, it's not like I don't understand that concern on the part of normal people, and I think as people who are fighting for justice, we should keep in mind what many Americans think and feel when these things come up. If
Mhm.
it sounds anything like, this is problematic,
Mhm.
and in fact, it's not just men who would say that. I mean, there are a lot of women who are uncomfortable with this with the exact same dynamic, and I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but I think if we want our values to win the day, we really should be attentive to what those differing thoughts and opinions are, because we do need to address that in some way. But that doesn't take in any way take away the importance of listening to victims and addressing those accusations thoroughly,
Right.
and especially when it comes to somebody who is about to have a lot of power or already does have a lot of power. There's not a lot of room for error here.
Right.
So I think there's the psychological game of the populace, and then there's high stakes situations that are high stakes for everyone, because not only is it high stakes for Americans if we have someone like that in the Senate or the Supreme Court, but it's also high stakes for everybody who has also been victimized.
Yeah.
That sucks. So it's not like there isn't minutia here, but
Right.
we can't just walk away from holding these powerful men accountable. If nothing else, somebody who is guilty of this stuff shouldn't have power.
Right.
That should be. I wish it were just easier to make that happen, but that's how it is. That's what should happen. Powerful men, men who behave this way, should not have power.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
See also Eric Swalwell.
Yeah. Exactly.
Although they do, and they're all over the country, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
And the world. But yeah.
Anyway, that's my millennial take this week. The other thing I want to talk about that we can talk about later is that like first grader play that I sent you guys the video of. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But Gabi, you wanted to talk about
that was very cute. I just wanted to add in that that's what I'm constantly, all I'm thinking about is victims during the World Cup now. That's like just because of how many we can move on from that topic. And now that everybody knows our opinion and we feel very serious about that, he doesn't have any business representing anyone.
Graham Plattner needs to step down. We need to find another candidate, preferably someone who hasn't assaulted anyone. That's
a must.
Basic standard. Yeah.
Or maybe somebody who found out their tattoo, let's say they didn't really know it was problematic, they went ahead and immediately covered it up. Like,
Right.
Maybe let's not explain it and keep it.
As someone with a Harry Potter tattoo who got it way before she became a transphobe, I'm fully aware that it's like a bad tattoo to have now. Right. And
should probably get that covered up.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Right. But that's a Harry Potter tattoo. Like white supremacist tattoos, like that's a completely different
very different thing.
Totally different.
Yeah. He is, I mean, whack. But yeah.
But anyway, the U.S. got trounced by Belgium yesterday.
They did.
I did hear that the sports occurred yesterday.
The sports did, yeah.
I couldn't tell you what it means.
It was one of the biggest games that we've debatably ever had, or at the very least in like 24 years. And we lost to the same team that we lost to in 2012, I want to say, or maybe it was one of the more recent World Cups, men's team too.
So the U.S. team is out now?
They're out, and they were looking for revenge, and they did not get their revenge, unfortunately.
Wow.
Poetic for how it happened.
Yeah.
My husband is the world's biggest United States soccer fan, so I couldn't not root for them. Because I know where you're going to go, Katie.
I know. Well, after Trump tried to pull his shit with FIFA to get the red card taken back for that player, like, how could they win? Like, it would have been such a shady win.
The thing is,
forever tainted.
And just some background, Katie. It was not a red card, but Trump did not even need to. Whether or not he called is beside the point. It's the fact that he tried to take credit for it. That's like, or that he tried to call, or you know what I mean? Like it's that alone that is frustrating, because it wasn't a red card, and you know what I mean? So then it's like, okay, now you just have tainted it for everybody, because there were so many people rooting for this team who comes from every part of the world, how it's supposed to be in our country, who have parents from all different countries. Like it was a team everybody in this country felt good rooting for, and then all of a sudden just deflated when he stuck his greasy little fingers in it.
Greasy, emphasis on little fingers.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of, though? It reminds me of the men's hockey team during the Olympics. It's like the Trump administration, Kash Patel shows up, and they put these hockey players, they're in this party situation where they're now seen along with these people. It's like the Trump administration is just ruining male athletes for everyone. You know?
They need to stay in their lanes, as they love to stay, as they love to say to athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also, though, I will say I enjoyed, there was an article I saw in the last few days, I forgot where, about Europeans being delighted by American suburban culture, and like how the portion sizes are big, and everything is so big and expansive, and I read that and I thought, I guess this is special to you, but boy, would I rather live in a European city for a million reasons than somewhere where I have access to every chain restaurant in America.
Right.
But maybe it's just me.
Yeah. I know. I'd rather have like healthcare and a safe society, guns, like that all sounds super appealing, rather
real
than
time off.
I'll trade you my cul-de-sac for that.
The best is everybody here, at least and I'm sure in your cities too, because of the World Cup being there. So many people are like, how are all these people here for so long? Like, what do you mean? Like, and I'm like, because they have time off, not an hour for when they're sick throughout the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was in
real time off.
So, yeah. And I was talking to this lady from Ghana, and I was like, oh, how long are you guys here for? And she's like, oh, just like 2 weeks. It's a super quick trip. And I'm like, 2 weeks? Like, that's the longest trip I take. What do you mean?
That's an indulgence to an American.
Oh,
that's
God.
Amazing. Yeah. And if you tell people you're going on a 2 week trip here at work, they're like, oh.
Like, are you going to get replaced?
Exactly. When people visit from some countries where like an American dollar travels a lot further, I'm like, how could they afford a plane ticket here? But how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, I met tons of people from India over the years, but American dollars spend way better than local currency in India. How do average people afford a plane ticket?
Well, so prices change depending on where you are.
Where you're buying it?
So a lot of like the travel hackers will say, okay, cool. You want a VPN for this country if you're buying a plane ticket from here to here, because it's gonna be cheaper. It's a whole thing.
VPNs also, because there's something called it's like a new sports started it. It's like they can now not only see where you are, but what you're doing on your phone, like everything that you've allowed your phone to like share without realizing it. they use that. So like if you looked up a concert ticket and then an hour later you go back to that same website, it's called dynamic pricing. That's what it's called. And they're trying to fight it. A bunch of lobbyists are trying to fight it right now. But it essentially tells the computer that you've already been looking at these tickets, or that you've been Googling it, or that you listen to this song a lot and that you would pay a lot of money. So it will up the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah. I've really tried to embrace the principles of, like digital sanitation and trying to lock down all the ways that, that anybody could have access to anything about me that's in a digital form. I think we've gotten so close to authoritarianism already that I feel like finding out that the FBI is actively, hacking and surveilling everyday Americans' devices feels like a logical next step. Like it doesn't feel like something that would only happen in a movie now. And so, all my apps I ask not to track, and I'm trying to find other ways to lock down access to information about me, because I don't have to have anything to hide to worry about that. None of us do.
Right.
But I mean, I'm enough. If The Handmaid's Tale comes true, I'm already enough. Just living my normal life could be a liability if things get worse. And so, come for me, Ticketmaster, I guess, but you will never know.
Well, did you guys see the guy who went to Walmart and he bought something stupid? I don't know, one thing, and he paid cash, and he got an email receipt after the fact, and he hadn't put his email in. He hadn't used a loyalty card. They had facial recognition at his self-checkout.
You guys would be
And he's like, there's no way they would have known. Yeah, sorry, Gabi.
The facial recognition stuff is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's so scary. I remember back in the day, there was a controversy because parents were finding out their teenage daughters were pregnant because of the coupons they got based on what their daughters bought.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't obvious things.
Right. Target. So have you ever read the book, The Power of Habit, by Charles Duhigg? So he has like a whole chapter on this where, this father of a 16-year-old comes into Target, because Target basically will print up custom catalogs for everyone. For everyone who gets their catalog, you got a custom thing. And they've walked the line of it being creepy and it not. So like your custom catalog will always have stuff that they know that you're never going to want. Right? Because they don't want it to seem too, geared towards you, but it is going to have stuff that you need that'll get you in there. And Target has figured out that like when someone's pregnant, like that is the time that like their buying habits can shift, and then they will be loyal to a brand forever after that. And this dad comes in and he's furious and he like slaps this on the desk and he's like, I need to speak to a manager. You guys are encouraging my daughter to get pregnant, blah, 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 because they had all this baby stuff. And they're like, we're so sorry. We'll call you tomorrow. We're going to dig into this. And they called the next day and he's like, okay, I owe you guys an apology because there was some stuff going on in my house that I wasn't aware of. And my daughter actually is pregnant. So
oops.
Side note, don't shut up at Target anyway.
No.
For real.
But they're not the only ones who do it.
Right.
Most of the movies I watch recreationally are sci-fi and or like thrillers. And, a lot of those movies feature things like burner phones, like, in The Matrix.
Yeah.
And so I asked ChatGPT if burner phones were a real thing. And basically it said, sort of, but you have to go buy like a burner phone with cash at a flea market for it to really count. And I was like, I don't even know where a flea market is.
I have
cell
one.
phones
or like a pawn shop, I think. Like a pawn shop, technically.
Yeah.
I guess. I didn't suggest that, but maybe that's. I don't even know where.
Let's be real. Let's be real. Like people like us are not getting burner phones. It's people who are like connected, and then they have a guy, and the guy knows a guy that has burner phones that fall off the back of a truck. Like
Yeah. We're talking about actual criminals or operatives.
Yeah. Exactly.
It feels so cool if I had a burner phone.
You said,
I feel like such a badass.
Ryan, you said movies that you watch recreationally. That indicates that you watch movies not recreationally.
Actually, yes. So a lot of my friends are actors or other film TV creatives, and so
Ah,
I've actually gotten away from this somehow miraculously now. But for many years, I had no choice but to see all of the nominated films, Oscar and Golden Globe nominees, because at least one person in my household was getting screeners, and they wanted to see those things. But I've never wanted, like, I don't need to see a drama that people cry at. I have those feelings already. I don't need to simulate them through, a movie going experience. That's not cathartic for me.
yeah.
So, I have no interest. I feel about watching movies the way some people feel about reading books. Like, it's exciting and fun for them, and enriching and rewarding. And I feel that way about well-made, studio size feature films. Not exclusively, but I love a good indie sci-fi film if it's well made. But yeah, I'm not I consider straight up dramas almost always to be a little bit of a burden to watch, unless it does have a sci-fi element or some kind of mystery element. And occasionally I will end up seeing one with a friend because they wanted to see, and I'm like, sure, I'll go, and I enjoy it. That does happen, but it's kind of the exception, not the rule, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
If you guys haven't seen it, you have to go see Disclosure Day.
Yes.
My
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
I went and saw it like last week, and it was game changing. It was just life changing. It was so good.
Yeah.
It felt so affirming to me because it it validates all the things that I believe and hope are true. But a friend of mine who's an Emmy nominated TV editor, so she has very specific opinions about things like this. She told me that she felt like the last 30 minutes were a great movie.
Oh, funny. Interesting.
Yeah, like the first 2 hours could have been an email.
Oh, funny. I really
I might have
appreciate
heard that feedback too.
I
But
appreciated the
fewer and far
world
between.
building that happened in the beginning, but
The what building?
yeah, the world building.
Oh,
We don't want
yeah.
to give anything away for
Yeah.
anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It will
one
be
of the
fun-
things I liked about it was that like they gave you a hint of what was going on in the background, but they didn't like try to over explain it.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's like they spend so much time doing that you're like, okay, how is that relevant to what's going on here?
Ryan, what about the movie Interstellar? It's like a drama sci-fi.
Oh,
That's like
yeah,
my
I love
favorite
it.
movie of all time.
I love it, and the list of reasons why is so long. I think the ways
Same.
that they visually, some of the things they,
The score
the
alone is
incredible. The cinematography is amazing, and the ways that they visually represented things that you can't actually see with 3D eyes.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like the wormhole, the time when they're in the multidimensional space, all of that is.
And the planets, like.
Yes. Yeah, those are things that's when a sci-fi movie is really good, when it at least appears to someone who isn't a scientist that they've really done the research and thought about what could a theoretical planet with these conditions look like.
Right.
And there's a planet in that film that, first of all, time moves way more slowly on the surface of the planet than it does in space, which is by itself not an original concept in sci-fi, but still cool to use. But that entire planet appears to be like a shallow water ocean, and randomly has tsunamis, and it's kind of like, well, I suppose of course it does. That seems totally believable to me, and I would never have thought about a planet that looks like that before existing. That's a good.
Or
that's
going to a
movie.
planet and it being 7 minutes elsewhere and an hour on the planet, or whatever the conversion was.
Yeah, because when they get back up to the ship or whatever, the guy they left there is like old now, and they were only down there for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what? I haven't seen this.
You haven't seen Interstellar?
Girl,
I haven't.
what?
No. I'm like, this sounds so interesting. I know. Sorry.
We have to watch it.
It'll make you think.
No, we have to watch it 3 times. Like, we can't just send you off on your own to watch it. We're gonna have to make you watch it, and then we'll sit down with you and watch it, and then we'll make you think about it, and then we'll watch it again.
Okay, sounds great.
It will make
you really looking forward to
that Matthew McConaughey deserves an Oscar.
Okay.
And
which he already has.
What's her name? I'm totally gonna blank on her name. I think that
besides
who?
Jessica Chastain.
Jessica
The
Chastain,
redhead?
besides Zero Dark 30, or not Zero Dark 30, she's in another movie that I think is also her best, but she in that movie I think is so good.
Really?
And Anne Hathaway. I mean,
Yeah.
what a cast too.
It's an incredible cast. Incredible cast. And there are a couple of gags that you know, but it's not too much. It's just kind of, it's perfect in so many ways.
It's so
I
perfect.
defy someone to tell me they don't like the movie. There's some comments now about movies.
Just watch Interstellar. Someone just
yeah. Just watch Interstellar and get back to us, because it is such a good movie. And as somebody who's like, you know, obsessed about stuff that happens in space, fiction or otherwise, I don't have a single qualm with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love to have qualms with
so.
things.
Yeah.
I'm not a music person. Like, I like music just normally, but like that score is like makes you feel something without, it just really moves you. Anyway, I guess we'll stop talking about this.
What other millennial takes do we have today?
You will cry. Yep. She will cry.
What?
Someone wrote on my comments that she'll cry. Oh. Yes.
I cry at
you will
everything.
cry.
That's not an impressive thing. I am a crier.
I cry I don't cry about the things I'm feeling, but I do cry at movies. I cry at truly touching moments, you know, in the real world. I get misty-eyed over the human race sometimes because I have kind of a Doctor Who attitude about the human race.
Like you cry in a sad way, or like you're happy?
Or in an awe way. You're in awe.
Yeah, all of the above. It depends on the circumstances.
Yeah.
Mostly the thing gets me misty-eyed is like example, you know, moments that kind of exemplify what's great about the human race and what's possible for the human race. And the you know, real world, you know, real time achievements of the human race, and that can be down to an individual person's growth, all the way up to, you know, something. But yeah, I don't. You know, I've always watched people crying by themselves in their bed in a movie and gone, who does that?
I'm glad you added in a movie, because I was like, what are you doing watching people cry?
Oh, you don't. Wait, so do you cry when you watch movies that are sad?
If it's well earned.
Weirdo. I literally cry all the time. Every time I watch Interstellar. The other day I watched it and I was literally just sitting there like dry heaving, like.
Oh yeah.
You know what movie makes me cry every single time I watch it? Up. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm sobbing.
I can't watch it because it makes me cry.
Oh my God.
But,
yeah.
I couldn't watch any of the Air Buds when I was little because the Air Buds would make me cry.
Oh.
Aww. I remember sobbing. Yes. I remember sobbing at The Fox and the Hound as a kid. Yeah, there were a couple that really got. I remember sitting in the middle of the floor in the living room and just sobbing over Fox and the Hound. And I don't even remember everything that happens in that movie, but I do remember feeling that way.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, I'm pretty sure they might have just come out with a remake of it or something like that.
I mean, they better not fuck it up.
Right.
Gabi.
What's the one with Lady Gaga? Sorry. What's the one with Lady Gaga?
Stars Born?
Oh my God, that one made me cry like no other movie has cried. I think I cried for like 2 days. You haven't seen it?
So
Gabi?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen a lot of
movies. What?
I know.
It's something you should see.
Yeah,
but it's
I'm a serial watcher. Like, I will rewatch like one thing that I like over and over and over and over and over again over watching new things, because I find like I'm so impacted by what's going on in our world, and I have a lot of anxiety about it, that I'm like, I just need something that's familiar, that I know it's going to happen. There's no surprises. Like, I know exactly how it's going to make me feel. And like anything that's new, I'm like, nope, not today.
I have a whole compendium of sci-fi stuff that is in my repeat cycle for that reason. And and the basis of it is like the foundational components are all the 90s era Star Trek series, but then it expands out from there. And I just cycle through all of them. I mean, I also cycle through the Alien movies. I'm not a horror fan, but I'll allow it for a good alien story. And those are really incredibly made movies. Also, most of them, especially the newer ones, have incredible scores.
Signs was one of my favorite first.
Oh, yeah.
I was so young when Signs came out, and I loved that movie.
I can't.
Yeah.
It terrified me. I can't do horror at all.
I mean, I've gotten more and more comfortable with horror as I've aged. But what I will never ever get comfortable with is like torture porn. Like I'm never going to see Saw movies. I don't think that I've seen a couple of the Final Destination movies many years ago, and I still have flashbacks. Like, not a fan at all.
No.
I don't ever want to see someone begging for their life and, get killed anyway. I don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to see people experiencing the pain of torture. I don't want any of it. None of it. There are really limited exceptions. Like there was a movie that came out recently that was like a kind of a puzzle kind of movie that I thought it was interesting enough that I was willing to sit through a little bit of torture, just a little bit though, just a little. But going back to, speaking of torture, going back to A Star Is Born, the thing I hate is when in a drama, it doesn't feel earned to me. I'm really I just there were things in that movie that were clearly designed to be impactful that I did not feel impacted by. So by the end of that movie, I was a little frustrated.
Interesting.
I was like,
it's because you know too much about the industry. I feel like when you're so in the know and you know what's behind the curtain, it almost like you lose a little bit of the magic.
Absolutely. It's kind of up there with Never Meet Your Heroes. Like, it does spoil some of the fun for me, I guess. But I mean, on the whole, on the balance, it's a positive because I also enjoy figuring out how something was accomplished, how they got a certain shot or whatever. But I don't get angry almost ever, but I have gotten very angry at movies before.
Someone said gotta go, but really enjoyed this discussion.
Oh, good. Well,
thanks
for joining us.
Can we talk for a second? Can we talk for a little bit about America 250?
Yes.
Speaking of horror shows, do you know how many people ended up on life support because of the heat?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. How many?
Horrible. There are at least 7 that are in the hospital on life support because they had severe heat stroke.
That's also bad planning too, because whether or not there was a heat wave coming, and they should have been prepared for that, and they should have had the right.
Well, and I saw someone who's like from Las Vegas, and like we have outside festivals all summer long. Like there's stuff you can do to keep people safe and healthy.
Yeah, heat and inclement weather are 2 of the things that are the easiest to prepare for because they're definitely going to happen.
Right.
And if you this is there are people in the comments in some of my posts on Facebook who talk about it's not a problem that Trump has been awarding no bid contracts because he was getting the best deal. An example of
these people think for themselves, or do they just go and then they just repeat it like word vomit?
No. They're committed to believing certain things are true, and they'll buy any bullshit to maintain that illusion. But if that's true, if we're over here saying that the Trump administration or Trump himself is so great at hiring people to do things that no bid contracts are appropriate, which by the way, in almost any job in the private or public sector would get you fired.
Yeah.
Especially if there's even a hint of a whiff of a personal connection to that person, which in this case there is. If we're saying he's so great at that, then we need to also acknowledge how bad of a job somebody did at hiring vendors and event producers, because people having to go to the hospital for heat stroke should not happen unless it's somebody who's extremely vulnerable and shouldn't have anyway, like an old person, like a very old.
Right.
Poor planning.
Well, and that's the 7 people who are on life support aren't even the only people who ended up in the hospital. There were like 54 people who ended up in the hospital on Friday alone.
Yes.
Which is fucking insane. People were talking about having to go to like the tent that had a baptism pool just so they could dunk themselves.
Yes, just to get
off. Like they converted to a new religion just to stay alive. Like, what do you mean?
I posted a video of a woman who had to do that, and she was like, "But it's cool." And I'm like, "Is it? Is that okay?" I mean, obviously there wasn't a line to get rebaptized so you could get on in there, but come on now. I also, speaking of there not being any lines, I have been to a million fairs in my life, and on a normal day, for just a state fair or even a county fair, everything is always busy.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. And also, if you've ever been to a state fair, especially, you know that it's easy to have a really desirable booth to visit. That's not hard to do.
Right.
So, you know, and when we see lines for nothing, when we see huge, massive spaces that aren't filled with people, and when we see footage or photos of these booths, the state booths in particular, that look more like somebody tabling at a career fair than than something that happens at a state fair, something's really wrong. Something's really wrong.
Not to mention, like, there's a difference between, and again, I used to be in this industry, so I know way too much about it, but like, yes, you don't want lines, but there should be people places. Like, it wasn't like, okay, we're looking aerial view and there aren't any lines. There's people congregating and having fun and enjoying whatever. There was literally no one there except for workers and vendors.
You shouldn't, if you don't have lines, it should be something you get praised for because you planned and organized and executed so well that people didn't have to wait.
There's so many people and you still don't have to wait. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things to do. There was nothing to do with this. There was a Ferris wheel.
I don't think I saw cornhole anywhere.
No.
No, because I was thinking there were a few good spots for cornhole. The whole yard was wide open.
I may have missed it, but I didn't see any like circus style attractions. Like I didn't see whack-a-mole.
No.
Or anything like that.
No activities.
They should have done a dunk tank with Trump.
Dunk tank. Yeah, the water would turn orange so fast.
And then it'd turn brown. You know it would.
Oh,
gross. And then they'd have to like get someone to like
hazmat. They need to hazmat it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
help them get out.
I wonder how easily his spray tan rubs off on other people.
It can't be that easy. It's got to be the best stuff. Only the best.
Got to be, right? Only the best.
Well, you would think that, but then it's like, how does he not? I mean, who's not correcting the orange tint? Like, how has this not been corrected?
There are so many skilled makeup artists in the world that we couldn't have one person on top of Trump's skin tone.
They seem to, you know what, now that I think about it, it does seem toned down. I'm sure there's been a changeover, but it's still
maybe.
if
that's true, then the hands thing wouldn't be so obvious.
Yeah. I saw a deaf interpreter who created a video yesterday about why Trump has decided he doesn't want signers while he's speaking. And they were like, because he doesn't like the name he's been given in sign language. He's been given 3 names and they all refer to his comb over. It's like this.
That's so funny.
That is so good. I'm going to have
oh my God. Because if you care about, people who use ASL, if you care about the culture, if you're interested in those things, one of the first things you learn is somebody who is deaf will give you a name, but it's symbolic. Yeah. Right. It may include. So this is an R, and mine is like this because I have red hair.
Funny.
But right. So the fact that that is, of all the things you could think about with Donald Trump, that's his name, cracks me up. But it's not. I guess he could have asked somebody to give him a different sign.
But I was going to say, I like it that's what they gave him. He didn't have a say in it, and that was the community, their choice, and that's that to me is the best part about it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's not exactly sacred, but it's not important.
Also, we could have come up with a few other. I would like to hear the other 2.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But also, it's the thing that makes him stick out. His hair has been a joke for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
visual appearances. Well, everything else. Visual appearances is vital to people who are deaf or hard of hearing. There are so few. When you think about the way that you identify somebody, think about the way they sound, maybe their speech patterns, things like that, noises they make. even if they're not verbal. All of those identifiers go away, and so deaf people are listening with their eyes. So of course, the symbolism of the way a person presents physically is going to be important. Also, sidebar, fun fact: if you want to not be taxing to people who are deaf, don't wear busy patterns if you're going to be speaking in front of them, because those tax the eyes. Yeah, busy patterns.
Busy patterns
lots of
is in
thin
like
lines.
patterns at all, or like is stripes? Like I'm stripes. I love stripes.
I think that stripes are okay as long as they're really thick. But like
So
thin, like
basically, you're
pencil.
saying your shirt is not friendly.
Your
No,
problem.
it's not.
No.
No, it's not.
So do what you say, not
No.
what you do.
Exactly. I'm going to be a great father.
Yes, obviously. Oh man,
Even
what do you
as I
guys think?
say-
Is Mitch McConnell alive? Are we going to get a weekend
No.
at Bernie's?
Oh no.
This is the thing that I've been thinking about the last couple of days. Is it really hurts my heart because, you know, obviously I have all kinds of thoughts about him that aren't charitable. But what's happening to him is you know, Dateline worthy elder abuse.
Yeah.
You know, stringing somebody's vegetable body along to meet your own needs.
It's like what they do to
or-
women every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their uterus, as if we're anyway. Sorry. I had to
Yeah.
go there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean it's true. That's true, and in a way, there's poetic justice in that for Mitch McConnell. But I think at the end of the day, in the twilight of anyone's life, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't deserve a little bit of dignity in the twilight moments of their life. I mean, I don't feel that way about Donald Trump, but anybody else. I think once you become incapable of being who you were when you had your shit together, you're no longer that person, I think, anymore. And then you become somebody who should be, the stewardship of whom should be something that is important and paid attention to and cared about. When my mom died, there was the option to keep her on life support for a long time. When my grandmother died, same thing. And I've lived through a version of this, and gosh, it just feels so cruel and so wrong to string an old person along that way. I don't know if I believe in souls or not. I don't know if I believe that you stay anchored to your body until it expires. But gosh, if there's even a remote possibility that that's a thing, what a cruel thing to do to somebody. And I have a hard time believing, maybe he would be down for it, but I have a hard time believing that, he would want this. And I heard today somewhere that there is some kind of deadline that they're trying to, there's a date in August where that if he's still alive by that date, it allows them to kind of jerry rig an election for his replacement.
Right. Right. Well, I heard the fear was they didn't want Thomas Massey running for the spot because he's very popular.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't blame them for behaving cynically like that if that's what they've always done, which they have.
Right.
But gosh, it's so hard for me to imagine that he would be. I don't know. Maybe he's cool with it. Maybe he was like, "Hey, before I check out."
Think, first of all, you're a much better person than I am. I'll say that. And I'm not going to give my opinion on what just because but I do think we have no idea what he wants. He was a fucker when he was alive. And guess what? He might have been like, you know what? Keep me alive. And he is the woat. I don't think anyone should suffer. Absolutely. But whether or not he would have wanted this, was out of control with everything else. So I don't think anyone can speak to that.
Yeah.
But you are a better person than me, Ryan.
Well, that's kind of how I am about the human race thing. Like I somehow manage to treasure virtually everybody. Even if that's not, I mean, there are people
that's a good quality
on paper hate, but so far it's stuck. I don't know. I guess I could get to a point where I lose track of it, but I mean, I try to stay that way because it's so easy for me to be negative and cynical about so many things. And I really, I feel like my time on this earth is going to be such a brief little blip. I mean, human beings as we exist today have basically been around for 50,000 years. My lifetime is not that important. You know, so I think more about, you know, in the big picture, what can I do in my brief little time that might make things move the ball forward a little bit for my species. And I think I would like to see us get to a place one day where we're all compassionate about each other, even if we don't feel like everybody deserves it. But that's hard and not necessarily. It's hard.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We're not there today. We're not there today. But
I'm not there with Mitch today, but thanks for the
I mean, don't get me wrong. Fuck Mitch McConnell.
I know.
And I hope he's paid plenty of prices for his choices, but yeah. I'm just so great, you guys. I'm like, I'm so incredible.
You're basically
wow,
Jesus.
Go me.
Hop off your moral high horse whenever you want and come down and tell us how the weather is. And you know.
Okay, great. I will. You know what? It's perfect. It's fucking perfect.
So are you.
No, I know.
I think this is a great moment for us to wrap up before we turn back into petty bitches.
Yeah. Joke's on you, Katie. I've always been a petty bitch.
Yeah.
I just want to finish with a reminder to anyone who's watching. If you care about the world, care about our country, you care about democracy, a great way for you to protect it is to sign up to be a poll worker this November.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, the kinds of people we're used to seeing at working the polls are sometimes people who can't really do it in today's environment. You know, a lot of people I grew up seeing going to that polling place when I went with my mom were, you know, senior citizens. You know, and I feel like there are going to be fewer senior citizens working the polls this time around. It's not nothing to give of yourself in that way, especially today, but it makes a big difference. And if you think about, if you're concerned at all about our democracy in any way, it's working the polls is an excellent way to do your part to maintain our democracy and hopefully improve upon our democracy. Because if our system of voting falls apart, guess who benefits?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, we want people who care about democracy actually working, and like you can have like a very, very real impact of keeping our votes safe by being the people who are counting them and having integrity while you do it. Yeah.
I've heard of this integrity thing. I don't.
Yeah. It's,
I hear it's great.
I would look it up. It's in the dictionary. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Send pics. Yeah.
Totes. Anyway, with that, we are Millennial Curious. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Katie McManus, the real Katie McManus everywhere.
I'm Gabi Torsha at Artsy Activists Everywhere.
I'm Ryan Basham at Ryan Basham Everywhere.
And we will see you next week, next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Mwah. Bye, everyone.